大家好，欢迎来到7G 妈妈俱乐部，我叫 Ivy。今天我们要聊的话题是温柔分娩。那么我很高兴今天可以请到2位美国专家。在我这边，这位是 Robin Wexler， 他是很优秀的一位分娩导乐师。然后这位是著名助产师 Barbara Harper。Barbara 呢，她也是水中分娩国际创办人以及《温柔生产》这本书的作者。我们欢迎2位。
大家好。
那么今天我们呢要聊的话题主要是跟这个剖腹产生产有关系，因为呢我知道就是在中国呢，可能从90年代这个剖腹产率一直在上升。那么在中国呢，很多妈妈她们很害怕，就是生产可能现在呢，我听到有的医院的剖腹产率已经达到70%、80%甚至90%多。你觉得 Robin 这个问题是为什么会这么高呢？
确实，我自己通过做分娩导乐师，就会认识到很多的孕妈妈们。我自己的感觉就是很多人当怀孕的时候刚开始会特别的高兴，但是就是离预产期越近的时候，就会开始有一点担心，那这个宝宝到底是怎么出来的？开始紧张。那我觉得主要的一个就是会怕疼，就是不知道自己是否能承受得了这个疼痛。再一个就是会感觉到，就是要生宝宝有很多事情是自己预测不到的，就是不知道会怎么发生，不知道会怎么进展。所以我觉得主要的是因为会害怕，而导致很多人就是会选择做剖宫产。
所以其实妈妈们她们可能有一个误解，她们觉得可能剖腹产是一种简单可能不痛的一种方法来生孩子，对吧？
是。
那我们也听一听 Barbara 她对这样子的一个问题怎么样解答。
Well, there's so many misconceptions around that, and one of the, I think, biggest misconceptions is that it's less painful. And what doctors who talk to women prenatally don't tell them is that the recovery period right after birth is so much more painful and can last a very long time. And all that pain and discomfort interrupts their mothering, has an impact on their breastfeeding, and I'm not even going to go into the effects on the child right now, but believe me, there are great effects. There's in Sweden, when a woman says to her doctor, you know, I don't want to give birth vaginally because I'm afraid, just go ahead and cut me open and take my baby. The doctor says, well, I understand that you have some hesitation and some fear, but here, I'm going to refer you to a psychiatrist, because my job is to see that I keep you and your baby healthy, and a cesarean is not the way to do it. So go talk to the psychiatrist, find out why you're afraid to give birth, and then come back. And if you go through therapy and are truly still afraid, then we'll do a C-section. And that's why the C-section rate in Sweden is right around 15%.
Wow, that's the goal of the
World Health Organization.
Yes. That's amazing. So a lot of birth happens up here.
Birth definitely happens between your ears, not your legs. It's what you think. It's your cultural programming. It's what your mother told you and your girlfriends told you, and the lady that runs the corner store that you see every day when you buy your buns, and you know, you believe everybody else, but you don't trust the person that made your body, and that's God. God made a perfect uterus and a perfect system, and we kind of go against it. In 1995, when the first edition of my book, Gentle Birth Choices, came out, I was asked to teach at a hospital conference in Mexico City. And then they were worried because the cesarean rate was about 35%. Today in Mexico City, in the private hospitals, it's 95%. But even then, when the doctors said, well, the women come to us and ask us to have, you know, a cesarean, that they're too afraid or they want to pick the date. And that was the first time I really heard that in 1995, that women were requesting it. And I turned to the doctor and I said, my dear doctor, if I came to you and said, I am so tired of my left foot, please cut it off. Are you obligated to cut it off? And the doctors just all looked at me and said, well, of course we wouldn't cut it off because then you couldn't walk. And I said, well, if you cut my baby out, maybe I'm going to be sexually dysfunctional. And maybe I'm going to have a miscarriage for my next pregnancy. They don't tell women that. They don't tell women those things, that there are complications that last your whole life. They don't admit that. And so I don't think it's so much women asking for cesareans as it is doctors kind of not saying all the truths about it, because they look at their watches and say, oh, I've got 30 women in the clinic and she wants a cesarean, so I might as well do it, instead of actually sitting down and talking to her like the doctors in Sweden and saying, let's discuss your life and your goals and your plans and see if we can't help you understand the benefits of being born vaginally.
有很多妈妈其实还认为，就是通过剖腹产生的这样子对孩子更安全，这也是一个误区，对吧？
It's not safer for babies to be born by cesarean. The effects on the baby are so lifelong. We think that we just simply have to get the baby out. The baby's in the womb, and the womb is the environment to grow a baby up to a certain point. And then we say, well, if we take the baby now, it will survive. Well, there's a huge difference between survival and optimal health and growth and creating a human being that has everything going for them. I know that some women are going to come back to me and saying, well, I had a cesarean and my child is just fine. Well, wait till they're 30 or wait till they're 40 years old and they have high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes. These are things that are caused by the epigenetic influence. When I say epigenetics, it's the influence of the stress and the environment during pregnancy, the time of birth, and immediately postpartum. I think my biggest complaint with cesarean sections is choosing that date that is arbitrary. And Scripture tells us in Psalm 139, we're perfectly formed in the dark of the womb. And God chooses the time for you to be born. And so if we surrender that to, I'm done being pregnant, I don't want to wait anymore, or let's choose this date because it's an auspicious day, we're doing God's job. And we're not letting this baby have the full development of its neurology. The whole system of this baby who grows into a teenager, who grows into an adult, begins in these first few moments. And we must do everything we can to protect that.
I think making that connection between the birth of the child and the beginning of this child's life, the rest of the child's life, is so powerful to hear. And it's something that when we're just thinking about how do we get this baby out,
Exactly.
and that's the end of that, that's our only goal, we forget that this is the start of this person's life.
The connection between the birth and the longevity of this human being. I don't even like to call them a baby. I like to call it the birth of this new human being, this new citizen of our planet.
Barbara 老师的解释会让我就想起来，我们经常在我们就是想这个宝宝是怎么出来的时候，我们很容易去忘掉，其实这就是这个生命的，就是他刚刚开始，所以他的出生跟他这一辈子的健康，这一辈子的所有事情的连贯性是非常的重要。
所以很多时候人想控制，其实神已经计划好的。那人控制了一些神计划好的，有可能就会有不好的结果。其实。
You know who said it very well is the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. And I've read many, many books that he's written and that have been translated into English. And one phrase that he puts so beautifully is, nature is as good as it can be. Those who try to redesign it basically create chaos. And by saying that, you don't know what the ripple effect is. And yes, I remember sitting on an airplane discussing my work with a woman sitting next to me. And when I told her this whole premise that the baby receives not just the imprint, but the cellular memory, the hormonal memory. And it's kind of like flipping a switch to say, now I'm susceptible to stress, and I'm susceptible to not expressing myself in a emotional intelligence. Everybody talks about IQ. They want smart babies. They want smart children. But nobody discusses emotional intelligence. And that starts in the moments of birth when mother and baby connect and come together. So I'm telling this to this woman on the plane, and she looks at me and she says flat out, I don't believe a word you just said, because I had a cesarean and my daughter just graduated magna cum laude from Harvard Law School. And you're telling me that she is crippled in some way? I don't believe it. And I said, no, I'm not talking about intelligence. Just answer me this. When was the last, no, I said, how is the relationship with you and your daughter? And she kind of buried her head just a little bit and didn't look at me. And then she turned to me and she said, well, I haven't spoken with her in 5 years, but we got along very well when she was little. And I looked at her, 5 years, you haven't talked to your own daughter? I said, there's a problem there. And she said, well, she won't answer my calls. There's something going on. And it begins in this no connection. Daniel Siegel calls it, he's a pediatric psychiatrist in the US, and he calls it attachment. And you can have this primary attachment in a good way, or you can have this non-attachment. And if you don't have that attachment, as in a cesarean, baby's taken out and whisked away, you might not see the baby for 24 hours because it needs medical support. This is not the way God planned for us to give birth. Oh my gosh, there's so many things that happen to the baby to help its whole system as it's coming through the vagina. There's really every medical, every emotional, and every spiritual reason for mother and baby to work together to be born vaginally.
So a lot of people think that birth is just a moment or just these few days or few hours, but actually you're saying that it affects a whole person's whole life in not just the physical way, but emotionally and spiritually.
I tell women all the time that the baby who receives the green light from a mother who's calm and centered, well-prepared, supported and nurtured, the baby receives that green light that says, I'm ready, my mother's ready, my father's ready, let me come to you. And when they do it that way and are received up onto the chest, the baby gets this same nurturing and love and comfort that his mother just received from those around him. It's like the baby comes into this bubble of love and this peaceful environment. And that baby who connects with its parents on that level goes like this. I'm ready. Thank you. I've chosen the right parents. I've chosen the right time. I'm capable of anything. I'm ready for life. And the baby who's born in fear, with a mother who's terrified, and a father who's clueless, and a doctor that says, yeah, let's zip open your belly and cut you out and put you in the nursery where you can stay for days and days and days. That baby isn't programmed neurologically to do anything except survive. They go from this child that's, wow, I really love this place, to the survival baby who goes like, I'm not sure I should come out. I'm not sure it's safe. Nobody wants me, in the sense of seeing who I am. And so I'm gonna shut down my emotions. I'm gonna shut down my cardiac system. I'm gonna go in from terror to shutdown. And that's why we have a society of people who are so emotionally crippled that when you talk to them about God's love, you have to get through all those layers of, it's not safe, it's not safe. My body's not safe, my being isn't safe. And so it's not easy for them to be in their bodies and be on this planet and have relationships and have this relationship. It's much more difficult.
所以在我听就是 Barbara 老师的这个解释，会让我想起来，因为作为分娩导乐师，我们听到这个名称就是分娩，所以我们就会想到这宝宝出生的时候。但是其实就是分娩导乐师，我们就是希望去帮助这个孕妈妈的一部分，也是就是她准备的工作，就是她如何来准备好去分娩。一般来说是，如果我们是缺少一些知识，我们对一个事情不太了解的时候，我们比较容易感觉到害怕。当我们更加的了解的时候，有机会像今天也听到 Barbara 老师的这种讲解，听完了以后，我相信很多的孕妈妈们或者未来的妈妈们会感觉到，其实没有那么的可怕。我现在理解的更多，我更容易去明白，就为什么这个自然分娩、阴道分娩它的益处是什么，这种恐惧可能就减少了很多。